Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the final game of the night in the East region between the number 9 seed Colorado and the number 8 seed Indiana. And Colorado leads 4-0 on a pair of field goals by Fred Edmonds and Ronnie DeGray. More than 2 minutes into the game, Indiana still has not scored. The lineup for the Buffaloes: Martise Moore, Fred Edmonds, Will Smith, Ronnie DeGray, and Chauncey Billups, who's 15 points away from 1,000 for his career. And he's in just
competitive ball game, ready for number 4 as 15th seeded Charleston Southern takes on the Bruins from UCLA. And our bracket here in the Midwest, Iowa State and Cincinnati already winning. They will take on each other on Saturday. Xavier, they beat Vandy and await the winner of this game. And welcome back to the Palace. I'm Gus Johnson along with Quinn Buckner. And when you look at these two teams, they are at
22nd different starting lineup he has used this season. This is their 33rd game. They're 22-10.
I talked to him before the game, very fond of Michael Lewis out on the floor, feels he gets assists, something he feels he lacks on occasion from the backcourt.
Concern for Indiana, the quickness advantage that it seems Colorado should have against them. And Billups drains a long 3.
Oh, well, another of those McDonald's All-Americans, in a sense. Everybody in Colorado starting to pay attention to the program when Chauncey decided to go there.
5th possession for Indiana, and still no score. Miller stripped on the way up, and it was kept alive by Martise Moore. Edmonds short with the banker. Collier, the 7-footer, with the rebound. 7-0 Colorado, more than 3 minutes play. And a little bit too frisky was the man defending Lewis. And it's Will Smith, the freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, picking up his first foul. Star of Colorado is Chauncey Billups, averaging 19 points per game. Big reason why this program has turned around. He's a local player from Denver, recruited by schools all over the country. When he decided to stay and play at his home state university, it gave this program an enormous lift that it desperately needed. Miller buries a 3.
And a big lift for Indiana, who've been struggling. Actually, Stanley's hair shop had a little help in recruiting Chauncey.
He says his barber was instrumental in convincing him to stay in the area and help his school. Joe Harrington was the head coach at the time. He left in the middle of last season, replaced by Ricardo Patton, who had been an assistant. That record reflects the end of last year, and the 21-9 mark this year. Colorado picked to finish 11th in the Big 12 in the preseason poll, finished 2nd behind Kansas. Last foul on Michael Lewis, his first, and another foul as Martise Moore put the shot up. Charlie Miller hit him on the arm, his first.
I tried to help on the box. A very buttoned-down guy, though. Ricardo Patton seems to be organized, understand what he wants, the demands on his players. A great esprit de corps guy, too. First night as a coach, he had them all sleep in the building.
The night before his
the Kansas game.
Against Kansas, the entire team slept in the Coors Event Center.
I couldn't imagine room service that night.
And the point he was trying to make was, even the meekest of men won't let somebody come into their house and take control. He didn't want Kansas to do that. Kansas came in ranked number 3 the next night and escaped with only a 2-point win. Moore, a couple of free throws for his first points. 9-3 Colorado.
And they're showing their aggressive side right now, getting out after it. 5 seconds left in the backcourt.
Lewis gets it over. Patterson, nice move. And he stepped on the end line. Larry Lembo with the call. The other officials are Curtis Shaw and Donald McAllister.
And Patterson, one of those guys that can be so impressive as Bob Knight looks on. Nice little post move. Got to be aware on the court exactly where you are.
Patterson's also one of those guys that's very frustrating to Coach Knight over the years because he's so inconsistent. Andre obviously has an enormous amount of talent. Knight thinks it's a matter of the right intensity every night. Edmonds scores over Patterson.
He's got to get out on the nets, too. Edmonds not known for that deep shot. Likes to post up.
Lewis lobbed it in deep for Patterson. Colorado in the tournament for the first time since 1969, but not showing any jitters. Chauncey Billups, the steal and finish.
A little coast to coast. He has speed and an overdrive. Nice read defensively, set it all up.
Bob Knight told A.J. Guyton, give the ball to him and come over here. And Guyton went quickly to the sideline for the Summit. Moore the steal. Billups alone again.
And Sean, that cost him because he didn't have an outlet over there. The trap effective. You've got to bring it up to the timeline quickly so you have plenty of time to make some judgments. Ball reversal. Post guy.
No timeout for Coach Knight. There's the 10 seconds in the backcourt.
You know what I mean, though? You got to push it to the timeline, have a reverse guy, look to the post or look over the top.
Coach Knight benefits now from the TV timeout. It's all Colorado, as Indiana has just 1 field goal and 6 turnovers.
Ohio in the corner, 7 to shoot. And an air ball. Aritner, Rolando Aritner. So far, Charleston Southern 0 for 4 from the field.
Well, they'll be 0 for 4 if they take shots like Aritner did. I mean, I thought he could have got a little closer than that. He had 2 seconds and about 10 feet. And I think Tom Conrad, the coach of Charleston Southern's biggest concern now is just keep his guys emotionally and in the game. Because as I said, if you play in a game against this kind of talent and you haven't seen it before, you can be awestruck.
J.R. Henderson at the line, junior from Bakersfield, California, had 21 points in that last-second win over Washington State. Second one won't fall. Daniels with the rebound. Here's Adam Larrick. Daniels. Knocked away. Toby Bailey. UCLA with numbers 10. Jelani McCoy and Coach Conrad wants a timeout. UCLA storming out. 9-0. No shades of what happened in the first round last year against Princeton, a game that we had a chance to call, where the Tigers went on to beat them 43-41. Different team now.
Much different team. This is a team in UCLA that has had a tendency to take things for granted. They haven't done it in terms of the beginning of this game, as you see Jelani McCoy finish off that play. But you can see that they've got some enthusiasm, knowing that they've come out and done what they're supposed to do. Come get right after it, and then you worry about all those other things later. The UCLA team that played against Princeton, they were too worried about what they were going to do probably that night as opposed to what they had to do in the game.
All Colorado over the
commitment to doing the right things as Toby Bailey taking straight to the basket. Right now, Bruins pitching shutout, 11-0. And Steve Lavin, that's the thing that he's had to change more than anything, Quinn. Just the attitude and the approach of this Bruins basketball team.
Well, everybody that had seen the Bruins team always thought that was the biggest thing that you had to change. It's the talent level matches anybody in the country. I mean, they've got talent, but the attitude, the ability to stay after it even when you got things going well at hand was necessary.
Now, don't forget, from Memphis, you will see this game. South Alabama and Arizona, 10-19. We will definitely get you out there for the tip. 4 minutes into the first half, UCLA 11-0 against Charleston Southern. Jeff Daniels, three-pointer, short. Long rebound, goes out to Larry. And he knocks it off of J.R. Henderson. So UCLA, all business here early on.
Junior from Suffolk, Virginia, pushes the lead back to 14. This looks like a football score. Colorado 21 and Indiana 7.
He jumps out at you.
Guyton, a three. A.J. Guyton, the freshman, strong candidate for Big Ten Freshman of the Year with his first points.
You talk about football, Indiana with a new staff coming in. Maybe someday they'll be challenging Colorado.
Cam Cameron, who played basketball at Indiana, the new football coach, among those on his staff.
All right, so UCLA leading in that one, and you can also see that in Colorado it's 21-10. Ricardo Patton just having his Buffaloes taking it to him on the inside. 21-10, 11-18 remaining in the first half. UCLA, there it is, 16-7. The Bruins scored the first 11 points in this game. against Charleston Southern. Now, coming up, we're going to be shipping you to Virginia against Iowa, where Gary Thorne and Dan Bonner will have the call. Coach Tom Davis of the Iowa Hawkeyes, he is 9-0 all-time in the first round. And we'll get you out to Salt Lake City for that action when we continue on the road in just a moment.
First time, so he's very excited.
Adam Larrick going strong to the basket. He draws the foul. Take a listen. Jelani McCoy.
The sound of a first-time dunker. You put that one on me. I have to remember it. We looked at that score, by the way, and Colorado was up on Indiana by 11. Chauncey Billups, they played really well this year. I mean, the sophomore was one of the leading scorers in the Big 12. He's made All-American.
So Adam Larrick really has stepped up with the injury of Sue Errol McPherson. Had 14 assists and only 4 turnovers in the Big South tournament. Makes it an 18-9 ball game. McCoy popping out, top of the key. High, low, Henderson dragged down and foul.
Henry going the distance. Smart takes the shot. Indiana wins the championship. There's the pass to Leitner.
And welcome, everybody, Salt Lake City, the road to the Final Four. This is where the first of the Western brackets are playing, and we are set for our final game of this particular bracketing. We are inside the Huntsman Center on the campus of the University of Utah for game number 4 here in these brackets today. The Virginia Cavaliers are ranked number 9. Iowa, number 8. Kentucky won the last game. Boston College and St. Joe's have already moved on here in Salt Lake City. Gary Thorne, Dan Bonner, hello everybody, and welcome for game 4 here in Salt Lake City. Virginia out of the ACC with an at-large berth.
Virginia finished 6th in the ACC, and they are a team that's built around guard play, and their centerpiece is point guard Harold Dean. Dean, one of the toughest guys that you'd ever want to see play college basketball, has played the last month of the season with a stress fracture in his shin. It's very important, as goes Harold Dean, so go the Cavaliers of Virginia.
Hawkeyes have never played Virginia in basketball. They, too, an at-large berth as they come out of the Big Ten.
They come out of the Big Ten. A Tom Davis coach team has never lost a first-round game in the NCAA tournament. Iowa also led by a very fine point guard, Andre Woolridge, a very solid 6-foot senior averaging 20 points a game. Virginia is going to have their hands full trying to defend that young man.
That's the man who's got to be shut down if you are going to beat this team. Real fine crowd on hand here all day long for the 4 games that have been played here. Jeff Jones, the head coach of Virginia. He is in his 7th season for Virginia. Take a look at the starting lineup that they will put out on the floor. There you see the ACC's leading three-point shooter in Courtney Alexander. The other end, Tom Davis, 9-0 in first-round games, his 11th season in Iowa. His starting lineup with Woolridge as their leader, but they've got some good ones. And we are ready to go. And Virginia, in the dark uniforms, will control the opening tip, and we're underway here in this final game in the West region. Virginia with the basketball. Staples.
And you better find Curtis Staples when you're on defense, because Staples, one of the finest three-point shooters in the country.
Staples and Dean will work outside underneath to Nolan. Nolan trying to drive the lane. Guarded. Rucker. Good defensive play. Dean for 3. In and out. And Iowa will get the rebound.
Iowa, one of the top-rated rebounding teams in the country, a rebounding margin of almost 10.
And Ryan Bowen, who averages just under 9 rebounds a game, got that first one for the Hawkeyes. McCausland outside. He can shoot the three-pointer as well. There is Woolridge.
As with Iowa, Virginia opens in the man-to-man.
Woolridge, 38th in the nation in points per game with 20. Rucker dips it off underneath. The banging goes on. No good, Bowen, and out of bounds, and it'll be taken over by Iowa into their own basket. Or Virginia, sorry. Iowa lost it.
Iowa, of course, a team that likes the pressure. Virginia's going to have to be able to handle the pressure of Iowa.
They've got the heat on here in backcourt right now. Staples and Dean primarily responsible for moving it up. The senior Dean, the junior Staples. Iowa will back off once brought into forecourt by Virginia. 18 and 12 on the season for the Cavaliers.
Iowa drops back into man-to-man defense.
Schramm underneath, double team, nowhere to go with it. Courtney Alexander averaging 15 a game for 3. Off the iron.
Nice pass.
Underneath and missed on the attempted dunk by Ducharme.
Colin Ducharme is a young man, a freshman who's really come on for the Virginia Cavaliers, but he'd sure like to have that one back.
Woolridge takes it the other way and gets the 2.
Sometimes when you miss an easy one, the opposition turns it into an easy bucket.
Got it into Nolan as Virginia kept the big man in the backcourt. Dean guarded by Moore up to Nolan.
You can see Virginia trying to slow the tempo of the game. Iowa would like to play that up and down style.
Virginia wants to keep it just like this. Virginia already 0 for 4 from the floor. Alexander looking underneath, found his man, and he won't miss that one. Norman Nolan.
The Virginia Cavaliers as a team shoot less than 43% on the year, so they are not a real good shooting team. They won't miss many like that for Norman Nolan.
Shot missed. Dean was in there for the rebound, actually batted it away. Bowen comes away with it on the near side. Ryan Bowen got it out to Woolridge for 3, no good.
And for Virginia, when they're playing against Iowa, you notice Dean got his hand on the last one. Staples got that rebound. Everybody's got a rebound.
Good dish by Dean, but blocked underneath. Good help down low that time as he triple teamed, and Bowen comes back on the break and easily makes it. Ryan Bowen, averaging 11.6 a game, puts that one in for the Hawkeyes. They keep the heat on. Broken Staples, 2-on-1. Staples picks it in, and Rucker blocked it, but foul call.
Curtis Staples noted as a three-point shooter, but that time goes right to the basket. Rucker already had 3 blocks in the game prior to this particular play. Of course, doesn't get credit for a block there because it's a foul, but Staples elects not to pull up from three-point range. Rucker does not go for the fake. Staples fortunate to draw the foul call.
Rucker, 33 blocks during the season, charged with a personal foul, and Staples, a 68% free throw shooter, nails it for 3, Iowa. Staples out of Roanoke, Virginia. And he makes both ends of it. And ties it up at 4. Rucker out deep, doesn't want to be there, and that's why.
He was trying to throw it to J.R. Koch, who wasn't looking, was going inside.
Rucker for 2. Nice touch.
Rucker, despite the fact that he plays the center or the 5 spot for the University of Iowa, has a very effective jump shot out to that 15-foot range.
Errol Dean getting through the press with a dribble that time to get it into forecourt. Courtney Alexander for 2.
Part of the reason Iowa presses is to steal the ball, but otherwise it's just to get the game going at an up-tempo pace.
Rucker again. And another 2.
And Norman Nolan's going to have to get out there and guard that one. The Virginia coaching staff palms skyward, wondering why he's not doing it now.
Rucker's picked up 4 on the nice jump shot we don't see much in college basketball anymore. That's for 3. That's off the iron, tipped away, and Iowa's got it.
Iowa with a zone look that time, and Virginia's going to have to hit some perimeter jump shots if Iowa plays that zone.
Off-balance shot. Good defensive play by Dean on him. This team's got a real good tempo going both ways right now, and Virginia will slow this down.
Iowa in the zone defense. You got to find Staples. Staples, Dean, and Courtney Alexander, all outstanding three-point shooters.
Iowa dropping back here, plugging up the middle.
Not a lot of movement for Virginia right at the moment.
That's for 3. Off on the shot by Staples.
Gary, that's a shot.
Rebound.
That's a shot that's going to have to go in for Virginia.
Koch from outside, and he's got it. J.R. Koch, a sophomore. Not a prevalent three-point shooter.
Right at the moment, Gary, very much an Iowa pace.
And on the press, stolen and saved in. Bauer made the steal. Woolridge's pass is blocked by Dean. Rucker for Iowa. A frantic start here in the first 5.5 minutes of this basketball game. There is Koch with a big hook rebound. Rucker.
Chase Matheny went to block the shot. Nobody was available to block out Rucker, and Virginia calls a 20-second timeout as Iowa, with their pressure, creates a spurt and a little bit of distance from Virginia. Harold Dean, not a real solid pass, and then
merited a number 2 seed in this year's East Region.
And they got it going late in the season with that triumvirate of Mackey, Watson, and Davis.
And Jelani McCoy slams at home, and the Bruins go up by 12. South Alabama and Arizona. This is in the southeast, and look at South Alabama with Bill Musselman, the new coach there. His first visit back to the tournament in 25 years. He's been jumping around the pros, the CBA, the NBA, and they're up by 6 over Arizona. And Salt Lake City, Virginia, Iowa. I'm going to say this is coming down to the last minute tonight. What do you think of that?
It's got a chance. Iowa's pretty good inside, and Andre Woolridge having a fabulous year so far.
Here's Virginia with a 2-on-1. And Iowa clears. Iowa with a 13-9 lead, and the winner of that game will play Kentucky on Saturday afternoon. So more live looks coming up at halftime. Right now, let's send you back full screen to Colorado and Indiana, and back to Sean and Bill.
well, he can come in and try to help move the team forward by being active. I think is the most important thing. If there's some loose balls, I think Andres can really help the team with that kind of play. But he's trying. I saw him almost give a little bit of an attitude to Jelani McCoy, and I don't think you want to do that, because you don't want to necessarily make these guys mad. You just want to beat them.
So far, the front court really dominating for UCLA. Outscoring Charleston Southern 24-6, and we'll get a foul away from the basketball. 7:55 to play in the first half. UCLA by 10.
Buffalo's jumped all over Bobby Knight and the Hoosiers early, and they're up 12 here, Clark.
Led by their outstanding guard, Chauncey Billups. And that was the one thing that concerned me about this game for Indiana. Chauncey Billups' ability to take over and get it done. Right now, he is off the hook.
Colorado fouled in the act of shooting. The winner of this game will be taking on North Carolina on Saturday afternoon. Meanwhile, in Memphis at the Pyramid, South Alabama and Arizona early in that game, actually 7 minutes into it, and 13-7, the Jaguars of South Alabama beating Arizona right now. Wildcats have struggled in first-round play recently, losing in the first round 3 of the last 5 years.
This is a young Arizona team, pretty quick, needs to play at a fast pace. South Alabama, on the other hand, typically likes to play more of a half-court, grind-it-out type of game. But showing you right there that they're interested in running it when they get the opportunity as well.
And meanwhile, in Salt Lake City, West Region play, there's Iowa, gold uniforms. Virginia at the line, trailing by 7. Clark, I've been saying all day, this is going to be the one that will close out the night for us, and I expect it might come down to the last minute. What do you think of that?
It very well could. Virginia is more of a perimeter team than is Iowa, although Andre Woolridge makes them go. Iowa, one of the best rebounding teams in the country, could be decided in the paint, Jim.
So more live looks coming up at halftime. Right now, let's send you back, though, to the Midwest play at the Palace. Back to Gus and Quinn.
All right, Jim, 6:33 to go here in the first half of play. UCLA 10-point lead, 32-22. Over Charleston Southern, the 15th seed. The Bruins, the number 2 seed, 21-7 overall record, 15-3. And the Pac-10. Right now, their best player, Lyric, at point guard.
Yeah, well, what they really have done is just try to get the ball in his hands as much as they can and let him make plays. What he's got to get is some help and get somebody to make some shots.
Air ball by Marlon Parker. Here comes Charles O'Bannon. Myers inside, leaves it. Henderson changed his shot and got to the rim.
Yeah, because particularly if you don't make shots, you allow UCLA to get right back up to you and run where they don't have to set up. You need to force UCLA to set up and run some offense.
Skip pass. The younger Lyric in the corner. Nice rebound by Henderson as he goes over Amijah.
Cameron Dollar just got a foul. It's with Larry. They were right there in front of it, and I'm not sure he's apologizing. But after the rebound, watch, he gives a little shot, and a lot of action by Adam Larrick, and the official makes the call. But it's really non-thinking there. I mean, that's one of those places when you need to get the ball. Gus, you know how you do that. You just kind of turn your body and screen the man off and go to it. You don't need to use your arm.
Cameron Dollar, a hero in the '95 championship game against Arkansas, replacing Tyus Edney at 6 points and 8 assists and a travel. But really has struggled with this game this season.
Well, he's also was a hero in the game against Washington State just this past weekend. As you see him lose control of his dribble, he wanted to make a one-hand pass, which is a mistake because you can't bring it back. And when he tried to recover it, he turned the ball over. But his game is, particularly from the offensive side, has been something he's just struggled with.
And the steal and layup by Dollar ties him for the single season record 74 with Tyus Edney one more. And he will hold the all-time record for a single season when it comes to steals. There's Bailey, Henderson rebound, and a foul.
Well, you have to do some anticipation, and you'll see right here, that's what Cameron Dollar does. Andres does not come to the ball. Dollar gets the finish as it rolls off the heel of his hand, but he ties the record for steals at UCLA. Quite an accomplishment for this young man.
So Henderson at the free throw line right now, 6 points, 6 rebounds. Under 5 to go, 37-24. UCLA, the winner, to play the Musketeers from Xavier.
UCLA coming out. We talked to Steve Lavin. This is something that they've done a little bit more. They come to the 2-1-2 press and gotten some good results out of it. And this may be a lob.
Oh, the great ball fake.
Yeah, he did. He faked him out good.
Larrick on the other end, jump stop inside, tried to float it in. Got his own rebound and is fouled down low.
Dollar gave it, now you see it, now you don't. He's got a man on his left that he's going to ball fake to. And boy, Rolando went for that fake, and Dollar was in good rhythm and finished the playoff.
Cameron Dollar, senior from Atlanta, Georgia. Larrick at the free throw line now.
Larrick's just got a stroke. You can see it as soon as it leaves his hand. He's got a great rotation and a chance to go in.
78% free throw shooter, makes it a 40-26 game. Toby Bailey inside the three-point line, and Toby rattles it in. Air ball by Adam Larrick, and he'll get the rebound. Rittner travels.
Yeah, Rittner was in between thoughts basically as to whether to stop, shoot the ball from there, take it all the way to the basket. And he got called for the travel because he did make up his mind and execute it.
Charleston Southern shooting 26% from the field. UCLA a whopping 67%. Bailey off the screen. He'll fire. Way off the mark.
So that's the one thing about UCLA, and that's why a lot of people go zone on them. They're not really, as you see Larry light it up, they're not a team that you can count on to shoot jump shots.
Cannot afford to give this young man any room to shoot the basketball. 3 of 12 for Charleston Southern. Here he is again, ahead to his little brother. And he'll lay it in.
Yeah, Adam did Larrick did the anticipating, and the ball came into Brett Larrick's hand, and he just threw it up to Adam, who ran out.
4 points for Adam Larrick, 15 for his brother, Brett.
Right there, the anticipation by Adam knocks the ball free, and Brett just throws it over the top for Adam to finish.
So J.R. Henderson re-enters the game, and Chris Johnson steps to the free throw line. And I thought it was interesting yesterday when we were talking about Chris, and you played with his father, and the comment that you made about his style and his father's style very similar.
His mannerisms, his personal mannerisms are very similar. Marcus was a guy who got it around the perimeter. He has his dad's number on him too, by the way. And I mean, around the basket, and just had very good footwork. And Chris is very much the same way.
Brought his father's number out of retirement to wear number 54. Right now, the Bruins on top, 44-31.
Santa Claus is here.
Well, right now, Bob hopes he has a bag of field goals. They could use them. They have not played well on either end of the floor. But all of a sudden, hanging around at 11.
A great scene, Bill. The reason for that applause you heard, the Fairfield basketball team in their sweatsuits has come out into the stands to watch this game, and fans all around the arena were applauding them as they walked down the aisle in recognition of your great performance earlier tonight in their narrow loss to North Carolina.
And they do deserve it, too. High accolades for their... And that deep three, I mean, inopportune, no reason for it, as Guyton seated up late.
2 minutes left in the half. 11-point lead for Colorado. It goes back to 14. On the three ball by Marquise Moore. This matches the largest lead for the Buffaloes. And Moore, transferred from Georgia Tech, has 7.
They just pounded it in on this particular play, as they do this time. Get a nice look and a chance for 3. You don't take the deep shot when you dribble down the floor. Get those big guys involved if they want to get back in this.
Andre Patterson will have a chance for a three-point play. Fouls on Ronnie DeGray, his second. And substitution, Dennis Griffin in for Colorado. Senior, spent a couple of years away from the program on a Mormon mission in Brooklyn. Patterson converts. Indiana down 11, nearing a minute and a half left in the first half. Pennzoil at the half coming up with Jim and Clark. All the scores and highlights. Look at live action going on in the NCAA tournament on this first night of the 97 tournament.
And Reed did a nice job denying an offensive foul on Billups. Billups was going to be the recipient, and good off-the-ball situation defensively as Jensen ends up getting involved on the pick. It's all because they denied Billups the basketball.
Second foul on Jensen. We have to be happy for Ricardo Patton. He's a former cameraman at a CBS affiliate. Spent 5 years in the early 80s as a cameraman at our Nashville affiliate, WTVF.
He could tell us which is harder. I think being a cameraman is. We've had our guys run out under the basket. Of course, all-day effort by them bringing these pictures.
We salute all of our technicians and production staff who worked so hard on 4 games today, particularly our handheld camera people who've been under the basket with that heavy camera on their shoulders all day long. We can only imagine what that's like.
We talk about stops during the course of the game. This could give Indiana a lift to get one, go the other way.
Melvin missed the turnaround. Indiana with a chance to get it back into single digits with a minute left in the half. Collier gave it up to Guyton. And his runner goes. And Indiana is back within single digits, down to a 9-point lead for Colorado.
And plenty early so they'll get the ball back, too.
Billups with Guyton on his hip.
Please don't let him get it back. Guyton gets there just a little bit late.
Billups fouled again while shooting a 3. So for the second time, he'll shoot 3. Neil Reed called for the foul, his first. Bob Knight didn't like the call.
And the denial by Guyton, he really should have had this pass, but he actually got hurt when he stuck his hand in there, recoils, and gives the terrific stroking Billups an opportunity to get 3, and Bobby right up on it. He figured or felt it was a nickel-dimer or a push-off.
Yeah, I think he felt Billups pushed the defender away to get the ball.
And that was a key play, getting back into it, getting it to 9 with a chance to go the other way, and suffering. Now, this has not been an easy year for Bob. Good start early in the year, preseason NIT. Last month has been a fit, and you can see defensively they're not the same type of team he usually puts out the floor.
1 point this year, 14-1. Then they struggled in the conference schedule, never could get a run going. They finished 9-9, 6th place in the Big Ten. Of course, the tournament hasn't been a pleasant place for the Big Ten in recent years, including Indiana. They've been knocked out in the first round each of the last 2 years. Last year by Boston College in Orlando, and 2 years ago by Missouri in Boise, Idaho.
And Billups, 86% free throw shooting, gets 5 rebounds, 5 assists, a stat stuffer.
12-point lead for the Buffaloes. Patterson from the foul line. Missed it. And they give the ball to Indiana. A couple of Buffaloes were chasing it out of bounds. Fortunately for them, they did not touch it because it's their ball.
Well, they didn't conceal it, did they? I thought maybe the point was in the wrong direction.
Indiana has shot 33% here in the half, and it's been a turnover-plagued first half with 10 for the Hoosiers. Three-pointer goes. Marquise Moore in the final seconds of the half, and the Bucks will go to the locker room with their largest lead, 15 points. (46-31) at halftime. Chauncey Billups leading all scorers with 20.
And let's catch the final seconds in Auburn Hills with UCLA up 15, but the Buccaneers with the last possession.
Ball in the basket.
5.2 seconds to go here in the first half of play. UCLA on top 53-38. Here's Dollar in a hurry. And an offensive foul on Cameron Dollar.
Well, that's not something you want with 3/10 of a second to go. Pete Lavin had got his team under control, and they were doing pretty well. But the end of half, you don't want to get a foul that running trying to go into the basket where there's nowhere to go.
So this ball,
shot clock should have gone off.
Has to be tipped in. And UCLA heads into the locker room, leading it 53-38. They shot 63% in the first half. And that is the end of the half. Once again, 53-38. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg will be along with Finzoil at the half right after this.
The game here. There's Robinson back in. 4 coming in the game for Iowa on that break.
Hunter in the ball game for the first time for the Cavaliers.
Coslin on the three-point didn't get it, and a foul on the rebounding action by Bauer.
Iowa really continues to battle on the boards. Curtis Staples that time had pretty good position and aggressively went after the ball, and that's what created the foul.
Bowen leads them in rebounding, 8.9 a game. Koch over 4. Rucker almost 6 a game. A lot of people are sharing that department. Good tough D, knocked away again.
Well, that time the pass inside to Nolan, he was trying to pass it before he caught it, and as a result, it's a Virginia turnover.
And in forecourt, Iowa gets it. Their second turnover. Lorisman out deep. Dean is drawing the defensive assignment there.
Man-to-man for Virginia.
Wow, that was a long shot. Cannon shot. Koch there with the rebound, had it, lost it, but Nolan hit it last. Yes, he did.
You know, though, when you have a rebound advantage of almost 10 per game over your opposition, it's not a bad offensive play to just shoot the ball and let your guys go get it.
Figure you're going to get the second chance with that kind of differential. Obviously, a good boxing out job done all season by Iowa.
They have such good movement on offense. They're difficult to block out, and so when the shots go up, they're in pretty good position for the rebound.
Woolridge just came back into the basketball game with Coslin. Tom Davis substituting everybody in and out here. There's Woolridge. Fakes. D dropped off. And Virginia with a rebound. Chris Hunter. Iowa's missed 9 of their last 11 shots now, but Virginia's not been able to pick up the pace enough. They're still down by 7.
They had been down by 11, but you're absolutely right, Gary. When Iowa goes cold, Virginia really has to take advantage of it, and the Cavaliers really have not done so effectively to this point.
Dean for 3. Picks it up for Woolridge.
For the Cavaliers, it's one shot, and that's all they get.
Coslin thought about it, goes back to Woolridge.
And when you're not shooting well from the perimeter, it's important that you get easy opportunities. With Cavaliers haven't forced any turnovers yet, so there's been no transition basket.
Bauer, the alley-oop underneath Koch once, twice in travel. J.R. Koch, the sophomore, walking as he tried to get position.
That's the first Iowa turnover.
And Iowa, a 7-point lead.
Oil at the half, sponsored by Pennzoil, the first motor oil to fully meet the new, tougher GF2 standard.
Welcome, Pennzoil at the half. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg. 2 games have reached halftime, and it's Indiana down 15 to Colorado as Ricardo Patton's bunch came right out and really took it to Bob Knight's team with an early lead.
Chauncey Billups having a volcanic eruption. He averages 19 a game, already got 20 in the first half.
Colorado making the most of its first tournament appearance in 28 years, and on the way to the locker room, Andrea Joyce caught up with Coach Patton of Colorado with that lead.
Coach, your team's coming off its worst loss of this.
And Patton 13-1 this season when leading at halftime. Indiana, when trailing at the half, 4-8. And the Hoosiers with a big deficit right now. Also, UCLA with 9 straight wins overall in this season without a loss since Steve Lavin got the job full-time. And how about the Bruins?
They do it in transition. They've got a number of guys who can finish, led by Jelani McCoy, who's yet to miss a shot. All 0-footers, if you will.
Meanwhile, in Memphis Southeast action, South Alabama has led almost the entire way against Arizona. And let's join Tim Ryan and Al McGuire for a live look at that game. 4:11 left first half.
South Alabama leading Arizona 23-19 with 4:02 to go first half. They are the 13 seeds leading the number 4 seeded Wildcats of Arizona. This is Coaxum in deep outside of Jason Ham. They'll take it under 10. Can't get the ball off Coaxum. Ham will head down inside. Coaxum over to Neal, and the big man trying a 3 is off the mark. In and out. Rebounded by Arizona. Good pass to Davison, but he lost it. Dribbled it off his foot, and Neal picks it up.
You know what's happening here, Tim? The Wildcats the last 2 times down went back to the system of trying to giddy up. If they just go down and set up the half-court offense and take advantage of their height and their really more greater ball plays, blue chippers out there. Every time they start to hustle, they turn it over.
Mark Neal, the 6'6" senior from Long Beach, has shown tremendous agility for such a long, lanky guy. Scooping up that loose ball. He's terrific finding his way up underneath the basket in the offensive zone. Ham. Bramlett rebounds that. Still a 4-point game. Mike Bibby in control. To Dickerson. Underneath for Davison. Davison's turnaround is off the mark. Handled easily by Coaxum.
They're not using up 10 seconds of the clock. Now, this time down, they aggravate the Wildcats again, make them use their energy on defense. It's the same story over and over.
The Wildcats have not done well on the offensive boards, not getting second chances. Ham for 3 points, yes.
If it's there, they'll take it.
Jason Ham shoots 3-pointers at 40%.
Also, the Jaguars will run if the break is there.
26-19. Bibby in the lane. Won't go for him. Bramlett rebounding. His little turnaround hook. Back to 5. 26-21. Approaching the 2-minute mark here in the first half. South Alabama's Jaguars from the Sun Belt. They are the tournament champions. 23-6 mark under Bill Musselman. They are the 13 seed in this region. Toby Madison won't go for him. Here's Bibby with room. He's fouled and the basket will count.
Nice move by Bibby that time. He put his hip into him.
Third foul on.
Pennzoil at the half was sponsored by Pennzoil, the first motor oil to fully meet the new, tougher GF2 standard.
Rucker playing high post dishes. Look at the move by Bowen.
The board up. When your game plan isn't working, dish it.
So that's 26-24. South Alabama with a 2-point lead as they near halftime in Memphis. Other action underway in Salt Lake City. In fact, they have less than a minute to go in the first half, and that's Virginia against Iowa. And Iowa's now matched its largest lead with a 9-point advantage and timeout with 41 seconds on the floor. 12 noon Eastern time tomorrow. We begin day 2 of the tournament. 16 more games on the schedule. Early mini, we'll see Wisconsin against Texas. Second half of the double dip has USC against Illinois. And we'll continue here on the road to the Final Four on CBS in just a moment.
CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the half, sponsored by Pennzoil, the first motor oil to fully meet the new, tougher GF2 standard.
Played very well in the first half. See what he wanted here, Woolridge. Shot clock is still on.
An 11-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. This may be an important sequence for each of these teams. Virginia would really like to get a stop and a basket.
Rucker had trouble handling. 5 on the shot clock. Bowen trying to drive, and he got fouled going the lane. Bowen has made very few mistakes in this basketball game. Now it is McAndrew gets charged with a personal foul. That'll be his second.
That's only the 5th team foul against Virginia.
Underneath again on the turn, Bowen.
And that Bowen is just eating them up inside.
Ryan Bowen, 8 points for him, 14 for Rucker. Virginia wants one here, running out of time. They'll get it. It's a big basket. Norman Nolan. Nolan gets his 6th point of the basketball game as the buzzer went off, ending the first half here in Salt Lake City. Iowa has the 37-28 lead here in Game 4 in the West region. Lots of other games. Take you back to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Gary, so as you can see, Nolan just beats the buzzer there at Salt Lake, 37-28 lead. Arizona and South Alabama nearing halftime. We're going to shift you over there. Later on in halftime, we'll have live looks at Colorado, Indiana, and UCLA, Charleston Southern. So let's get you to Memphis right now with Tim Ryan and Al McGuire.
1:38 remains here in the first half. See if Bibby and company can close it up here. They trail by 2. Here's Yoder. The long pass and missing the layup, but Alderson's skying up there to jam it in, and a 4-point lead.
He just out-hustled Arizona back down court. Alderson that time.
Rico Alderson, 8 points. This is Michael Dickerson, and it was Jason Ham getting a hand on it.
Here's a breakout.
Simon will inbound it. Miles Simon, who shaved his hair for the tournament. Yoder picks up the loose ball. Goes to Yoder, very poised backcourt man for South Alabama.
Bill Musselman wants to win the lead at halftime. He'll milk this one all the way down. He will get one more possession after this. Arizona will take it down, then USA will have one possession that will guarantee him a lead at halftime. That's all he wants.
10 on the shot clock, 46 on the game clock. Pokes him off for Alderson underneath. Loose ball grabbed by Bibby, by Simon, pardon me. Over over to Bibby. Bibby off the glass gets 2, and it's a 2-point game. 5 points for Bibby.
That's only their second fast break. They want to run, but I think they're creating a problem for themselves trying to run when the running's not there. They'll take it down.
In the corner is Elvis Barrett. Now outside Coaxum. Down to 10 seconds.
Arizona can give one foul. They can give one foul. They should have given a foul there.
Bibby went right at him, didn't get a call. And a miss from Ham. Yoder throws it up off the iron as the half comes to a close. South Alabama clings to the lead, but it's only 2. That's the end of the first half of the score. South Alabama 28, Arizona 26. Jim Nance and Clark Kellogg will be along from New York with Pennzoil at the half after this message and a word from your local station.